Okay, recently a fellow by the name of Carla Reese, who is a chef, passed away of heart disease at age 44. He was noted to be someone who ate meat. He wore shirts that said not vegetarian, things like that. He would sometimes make fun of vegetarians, vegans, and so on and so forth. And so now that he has died, the vegans are celebrating his death. They are coming out with fairly sort of disturbing commentary. Behind me is a comment from a guy who calls himself the vegan Viking. He basically says, "Good. Tired of the sympathy post by confused vegans. One less violent human is always a good thing." So, he's basically saying it's good that this guy has died, which is kind of, it's kind of a disturbing thought. And then in response to that, another vegan that goes by the name of Vegan Cyan lifts, and apparently cyans are some cartoon character, so interesting that he named himself after a cartoon character, and he's talking to another person that found that the other comment was sort of inappropriate, and he goes, "Hey there, C-word, cow murdering filth. I hope you go the way of Carla Reese," so wishing her death. And then he talks about he made his account private because he didn't want the meat C-words to spam his post while he's asleep. And then he further goes on to comment and say that he's celebrating the death of one of you cow murdering skunks. He has a public profile and a public figure, and if his account is set at Prodigy, so he should be ready for this. Now, realizing he's already passed away, so I don't think he really cares what the comments are. So anyway, this is obviously, I would hope, not the view of the majority of vegans wishing people death, but there are enough of them that it's become a very disturbing thing. This comes from the sort of the whole meat is murder, dairy is rape mantra that's out there, and it inspires these people. And these guys that do this, who knows how old they are? Do they live in their parents' basement? That sort of stuff. But it could be a sign of depression, of violence, of mental health disease. As this study here talks about low cholesterol levels and violence. There's another study that looked at low cholesterol in criminals, and there's actually several studies out there showing low cholesterol and depression. So, could it be a sign of this sort of stuff taking over as they find that their diet is deficient? That's hard to speculate. There are, people die for a lot of reasons, and Carl Reese unfortunately died at a relatively young age. He ate meat. He ate a whole variety of foods. He probably ate more like the standard American diet, quite honestly. And so to blame it on the meat is again silly. I mean, it's no sort of, we could certainly sit there and pick out people like, Steve Jobs, fruitarian. You could look at Linda McCartney, another vegetarian vegan, dying of cancer. The actor Michael Clarke Duncan, died of heart disease after turning either vegan or vegetarian. Same with Luke Perry, same thing, switches over, dies, heart disease. And the founder of the American Vegan Society, this guy here, died in his 60s of heart disease. So, I mean, it doesn't do any good to point out that certain individuals die of something. This is just unhelpful. It's certainly poor behavior. It reflects badly on those people. It reflects badly on most vegans. Just the same thing if they were meat eaters celebrating the deaths of the aforementioned people I just talked about. I certainly would not condone that or promote that. At the end of the day, this sort of stuff is going to ultimately result in this sort of rhetoric is going to ultimately result in violence towards humans. It's already starting to. We see with the activism attacking farmers and business proprietors. And this is being driven by the vegans, right? These are people that are initiating this stuff. And so this is almost surely going to happen. It's going to be very unfortunate. I certainly don't want to see that happen. I don't want to promote that. And hopefully, we can pass laws to prevent this sort of aggressive, violent activism, this invasion of private property stuff. There was a video of some guy, with somebody going in and out, a couple activists going in and out, just screaming at people through megaphones right in their face. I mean, that potentially can injure someone's hearing. I mean, that's certainly problematic. And they were sort of escorted out by some teenage kid, apparently, carried him up and put him outside. This is, fortunately was resolved in a non-violent way, but we'll see that happen. We are at a crossroads when it comes to diets. I think that instead of trying to call everybody that eats meat a murderer, which is 99% of the people on the planet, perhaps we should look at a common solution about making agriculture as sustainable, animal agriculture as sustainable as possible, as regeneratively done as possible, because it certainly is doable. We have evidence, and evidence growing all the time, that is a way forward. But anyway, hopefully there'll be not much more of this, although I'm not that optimistic about that. I'm sure it'll continue to happen. Hopefully the vegans will sort of take care of their own, so to speak, and let these people know that that's unacceptable. Unfortunately, I think there's a significant, loud minority, like in any group, of these people that do this stuff. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow, I think. And you guys subscribe, like, check out the links in the description below. A couple of those studies I put in the description below. All right, guys, have a good day. Take care.